a treatment for tennis elbow, and an operation in the surgery.
Well, it's now 10:20 and we're just going out to a little village 10 to 11 miles from the surgery, and this lady Doris has got a problem. She's bleeding a little bit with her vomit, and she has some varicose veins, for want of a lay term as it were, in the throat. Hi, Vincent.
Yeah, hello, Doctor. Oh, come in. A pleasure. You know I do. Upstairs. Oh, come on, follow him up. You're all right. Come on, you're all right. Follow him on. This has come on for no reason, really.
Yeah.
She's just been having an orange and...
Just relax, you're all right, just relax. Now,
Sorry, but yeah,
now, how are you?
I've pushed it 3 times down the sink and no dark coloured.
So how long ago, Vincent, is it since she had this vomit and bleed?
Well, I was actually asleep at chair about 8:15 when she come to bed out.
And I came upstairs on my hands and knees to the toilet, and of course I
Now,
had
just
to...
stop, can I stop you there? When you came upstairs on your hands and knees, why? How were you feeling? Just weakness?
Weakness, trembling, and hot. And then, of course, I was sick in the sink, and it was blood. And
We used to go at night tomorrow since she was last injected them veins.
Is it? There are 1 or 2 little signs that show that you've had a blood loss. If you have another one, you could just go down a little bit more than we'd like. And it's no good you being here if you do have another one, and I can't foretell whether you're going to or not, and nor can you.
no.
Nor can Vincent. There's no panic about it, but we'll move you in this evening. And no hassle.
No.
And I don't want you getting in your best night or anything. Just stay more or less as you are. You know, you've done it before now, several times, eh?
Yes, the story of my life, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll be here in about half an hour, Vince, all right?
I'd better leave curtains.
What number are you?
Oh, 58.
58, of course it is. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Doctor.
And then give me a buzz when she gets home again, lad.
I will, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Skipton. Townhead 3, over. Hello, Skipton, thank you. Could I please have an ambulance to New Village, Ingleton, for a stretcher admission to Airedale, over? My obsession was about communication. And it's not only communication like this wireless thing I've just called the ambulance on, but it's much more important is the communication between personalities. The ambulance blokes can do so much more than just transport the body from home to hospital or whatever. I mean, they know a lot of the patients, you know, and they can say, come on, Joe, we'll have you down and you'll be right, and that sort of thing. And it means a hell of a lot when you're really up the creek and you're feeling pretty crook and you've got pain or you feel very weak like Doris does from, I mean, she doesn't say so much, but she feels bloody awful.
How long have you had it for?
2 or 3 years.
Okay. Has it ever got infected and blown up?
No.
No. But it's catching now, isn't it?
It seems to have got larger
Right.
this last 12 months.
Yes, yes. We're so far away from the hospital, and we tend to do quite a lot of acute casualty work. But also, the new contract has made a difference to us doing minor operations. And there's such long waiting lists in hospitals to have this done. It's not been a long waiting list, has it, Mr. Metcalf? About 4 days.
Yes.
Just clean it up first, all right? It might feel a bit cold. It's just a little cyst of fatty tissue under the skin. Quite often they're in the scalp, where they get caught if you comb your hair. Mr. Metcalfe's is just on the line of his collar. So whenever he was doing his shirt up, it was catching. And people were commenting on it, you said, as well.
Yes.
And it takes, as I say, a couple of minutes to numb the area.
I suddenly noticed fairly recently that this ear wasn't hearing as well as that.
Yeah.
And I was recommended to have it syringed. I came in to have it syringed. Christine looked at it and said there was no wax on it, but that she'd come and see you and you could tell me if there was anything further wrong. I'm also conscious of pressure if I'm singing or talking rather loudly. You're conscious of a certain blockage.
Forgive me if I can't, because you're normally Dr. Imre's patient. What do you do? What is your...
Brian Smith, Archdeacon of Craven, a clergyman.
Of course.
Oh, it's tough round here.
Were you going to go back to work this morning?
Just office work.
When you do these, it's nice to get them out if they come out whole, but this one doesn't look as if it's going to. So, unfortunately. I know it feels as pulling, but
No, it's here.
you're all right. Let's hope we get it out and it doesn't come back. Unfortunately, sometimes they can come back.
If I'm singing loudly, I mean, not the thing that I do very often, or
Yeah.
talking rather loudly, the reverberations on this side are different from the reverberations on that side. And as I said, the perception is not that you can't hear through this ear, but it's rather fuzzy. I think probably the treble is down.
What I'd like to do initially is for you to do a thing called politzerization. Now, that sounds long, but all it means is
Right.
go into the bathroom on your own
Right.
and get preferably a plastic glass, I always say, in the bathroom, so if you do
Right.
drop it, it doesn't break. But get a glass full of water, squeeze your nose tight, fill your mouth with water,
Right.
and then keeping your nose squeezed, swallow it.
Right.
All right?
Right.
And you get about 4 swallows out of 1 glassful.
Right.
Now, this may relieve it dramatically, and your ear may go pop, as you were
Right.
talking about, as you
Right.
described. Rather more usually, it just gets a little better slowly, and it's not a dramatic
right.
pop.
I think you're going to have a little bit of a bruise here. Can you feel this?
No.
Jolly good. Usually you just feel a bit of sort of pushing. These stitches are going to need to stay in for about a week. Better clean you up, because you'll go out here and there'll be blood running down your neck, and everybody will notice. When I had my ears pierced, I went into a shop afterwards to buy something, and they said, "Excuse me, but do you know you've got blood running down your neck? A bit like a vampire or something." Right, all over and done with, I think.
Bit puffy today, aren't you? Bit puffy.
It's gone worse since I took those things.
We'll have to see what Dr. Brewster
That
says.
inoculation stops it. Inoculated me last afternoon.
And that helped.
Oh, yeah, it does a lot of good.
We'll have to see what he says today then. Hmm?
And then it comes back, you see, like this.
Down her surgery. Jane Merrick, down to the green wall and turn
I've got you
right.
here, it's all right.
Can you remember falling over and somebody coming to help you get up again?
Tumbling out, I'm not
Yeah.
women trip to the aged shop there across the road.
Oh, yeah. What did you trip over, Mr. Marklew, do you know?
My feet. That was about it, I think.
Was it? You didn't catch your toes on a...
No,
Bit of-
no, it's level enough. Ah, got a build that.
That's lovely, your eye. It's going to be beautiful. I feel like an old war horse, you know. Scent of blood and I'm away.
I'm just going to put a local anaesthetic in so we can attend to matters after that, you see.
Are you going to...
Well, if you can do that one, I'll just do the elbow and I'll come back and we'll turn him round and I'll do the other.
Right, so we'll just get some things to put a few stitches in, and then you'll be all right.
Push. Does that?
Yeah.
Where does that hurt?
It hurts right on
Right up there. Yeah.
on the end of the ball.
So this is a tennis elbow, but you weren't playing tennis when you got it.
No.
This you banged it.
I banged it, yes.
It's fairly unusual to have a traumatic tennis elbow. Really what it is an epicondylitis, which is all the muscles coming up here, as it were, or really starting from here. They're all inserted into this one point, just as if you put it there and then put a screw in.
Yeah.
And they're all inserted in that one point. And so when you're classically screwing screws that are very difficult to screw, all that force comes into that one point, and it inflames this lump of bone, which is called an epicondyle. We can inject it locally with a steroid, which is a little painful at the time, because I've had mine done 3 and I know it's fairly painful just at the time, but it does seem to work. Now it's hurting.
Yeah.
A little bit of pain. It's what they
Much
call an
worse than my
exquisite
shoulder.
pain. What they call an
Don't call that
exquisite pain.
exquisite.
Hello. Hi, hello, Jackie.
I'd like to show you Kevin's ankle.
All right, so we'll have a look at that first.
Elaine?
Sorry, then. Yeah.
Elaine, would you like to bring Kevin through?
He's been doing his drawings, no?
It's his birthday tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, are you doing something?
Yes, we're having a big party.
Bit of a...
Have
Now,
a sit
Kevin.
here, my little pet.
Here?
And let's have a look at your ankle.
What have you been doing to it, Kevin? Oh dear, he went, he had a tumble.
Yes.
Right.
Several tumbles. One clean over the banisters.
Oh dear.
This is now a week old.
Yeah.
Better than it was. The bruising's gone down.
Has it? Yeah. Just going to have a look at it, Kevin.
Can we look at your poorly foot? Is that okay?
Yeah. It's often very difficult to know when they're in pain, isn't it, really? With, yeah. You just move it up like that. That's a good lad. You can do that very well, can't you?
A book out.
Can I turn it that way, Kevin? Let me just turn it. Does that hurt at all? How do you assess his pain, Jackie? I mean, what?
He usually cries if he's in pain.
Yeah.
If he's
Yeah.
cried, I've just given him Panadols and it's settled
He
it.
doesn't seem to be getting upset about doing that, does he? So it's hard. So I don't think there's any fracture there. And is he walking reasonably well now, putting weight on it?
Yes, his weight bearing.
Oh, well.
Right, on that side, isn't it? I don't think we need to X-ray that. And you say the swelling has gone down a bit.
Yes, it's going down slowly.
What about the general behaviour side of things?
Fairly drastic.
Is it?
Yeah, we've upped the drugs as we agreed.
Yes. Yeah.
It's helped. It's made him manageable.
Yes.
Hello.
It's not good.
Let's just see how he responds now, shall we? Have a few words with him.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Lawrence, tomorrow. Very timid. How's he been since last week when I was in?
Well, the increased dose of Largactil certainly brought him back under control.
Yeah.
He was definitely out of control. He was breaking chairs and headbutting the doors.
Hey!
All right. Right, love, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, Mrs. Briggs. How is he today?
Well, I don't think he's very well.
It's when he doesn't take those water pills, it puts a load on his pump on the heart, you see. And when that happens, he gets a bit breathless.
Oh, I see.
But then for the first time on Friday, I mentioned Harden ward, and he didn't say no. And he said, well, you were coming tomorrow. And he said he'd have to see Mrs. Briggs before he... Well, he sets a lot of store by you coming on Monday.
Oh, so
How long have you been coming here on Monday?
30 years.
30 years,
Yes.
every Monday.
Yeah.
And has he talked to you about
Yeah, oh,
Harden
yes,
ward?
yes.
Has he?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He says, I'm going in tomorrow, I think.
Oh, did
I
he?
said, oh, well, that's good.
My goodness me.
You know.
That's a change from
Yeah.
his, this
Yeah.
is not open to discussion, when I first suggested it some weeks ago. Anyway, I'll go and see him and see how he... I'll come back and tell you.
Yes, right. Thank you.
Hello, Helen. Hello. How, Willie?
Hello, Doctor.
How are you doing?
Not too bad.
I've been talking to Mrs. Briggs,
Oh,
and you've been talking to her.
mm,
What did you say to her?
I don't know.
About Harden, about going in for a day or two.
Well,
See if we can deal with this breathlessness a bit. Hmm?
Do you think I'll get better if I got...
Well, I think if, as I said on Friday and again yesterday, if we can have you in there for 3 or 4 days, we can get this breathlessness sorted out. You see?
Well, I've just a few lots of bothers about income tax and what they are.
Well, don't worry about the income tax. They're not going to bother you for a few days.
They're after me.
Who's your accountant?
Midgley.
In Settle?
Yeah.
Well, look, is it all right with you if I just have a word with them and explain that you're poorly and you're going into Harden? That's all right. That's all I'm going to tell them, just that you're not able to deal with your affairs at the moment. How long haven't you been taking your water tablets for? Those 2 in the morning?
Oh, I've had them for long enough. I didn't know about them. Didn't really. I forgot. Well, everybody looked for them. The nurse looked for them before. But there's only 3 left, I think.
Well, I can deal with that. That's no problem. Anyway, look, I'll have a little talk with Mrs. Briggs, and you can have a talk with her after I've gone.
I can't hear what the people say. It's just worse on telephone.
All right. We'll get you in tomorrow.
I know.
All right.
Michael came to see me when you were away. Actually, called to see me at home.
At your house?
Yeah, when I was on call, and he said he'd come to see me about the poll tax. Do you remember?
Because I've done his form.
You've done his form.
I've sent it off.
That's right.
His exemption.
When there's exemption, we went over who was exempt from the poll tax, what categories they were, and how they had to be mentally impaired, how they had to have a note from the doctor saying they were mentally impaired.
In fact, we're being put in the position of
societal
tax arbitrators.
Yeah, society's policemen
which
again.
Really,
yeah,
isn't certainly part of my remit as I see it.
Well,
anyway.
no. And he said, well, do you have to say I'm mentally impaired so I can not pay it? And I said, yes, we do. That's what it says on the form. And he said, well, I'd rather pay the poll tax.
And what do we know? What sort of money that comes to?
Probably 60, 80 pounds, something like that, in a year.
Well, isn't that remarkable? So what do we do?
Well,
we undo it.
We undo it, presumably.
You came to see Bill Hall the other day. I was away in London, and you were saying to him about you'd been reading the form.
Yeah.
And on the form, it uses the phrase that, the idea of the form.
Severe mental impairment.
Sorry?
severe mental impairment.
That's right, severe mental impairment, those are the words.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to point out to you, as I had said when we first came to discuss it, that I'm very willing to sign this form and to put you forward so that you don't have to pay the poll tax if you wish.
Yeah. Well, what it was, I felt that the government not only taxed me, it's been physically unfit.
Yes.
And now it's mentally unfit as well.
So they're attaching another label to you?
Sticking another label onto me, you see,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I just want you to be quite clear what you're doing and why, and you know why. You've reasoned that out yourself. All right.
Well, I was quite happy paying the poll tax, see, you know.
Yeah.
But now the housing benefit's been sorted out. I got a letter yesterday to say that I was £4.08 in arrears with my rent.
What I'd like to also get at is really, can we just discuss briefly, so we all have a united front? I'm thinking now not of the Michael Boys of this world, I'm thinking of some others who would like to possibly be exempted from poll tax.
And I don't know how we can stipulate a criteria for mental impairment.
Well, I think really each time one of us has an individual problem with these poll tax cases, I think we'll have to discuss it amongst us.
I've got something from the Alzheimer's Disease Society, a 10-item mental test score for dementia, which is quite good. But I mean, some of the questions are most insulting. Asking somebody where they are at the moment is surprisingly insulting sometimes, and also asking people to
get a few ripe answers.
And asking people to count backwards from 20 to 1 is also pretty insulting to some people. But anybody that scores 6 or less out of the 10, it suggests severe dementia, which I suppose is what we're after, isn't it, really?
Well, yeah, but that's severe dementia.
Yeah. But it doesn't.
What about the words
illness?
Used on the form are
mental impairment.
It's not a sharp line at all, is it? And it's very difficult. And if you know the poor guy's badly off and the family are badly off and everything else, you know, it's...
Perhaps we should have the same thing as we do for the driving medicals, where it's not the GP that signs it.
That's a good idea. What?
I know we decided to do it, but I don't mind doing my own men because I know more about them than somebody else.
It's not always a good thing,
Good thing.
necessarily.
That reminds me, Willie Morfett's coming up for his driving. And one of you brothers is going to do it, not me.
I think 3 of us ought to do it.
I've seen him on a test driving.
It's like an appeal court.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
Are you a machine? You used to say.
Hello. Now, I understand that you're quite worried about Arthur.
Yes, I am. Because he's quite not himself.
Isn't
I mean, during the night he calls and calls. But you see, he has so much bed.
Well, you ought to be able to tell me if he's not right after being married to him for 74 years, hadn't you?
75 next March.
75 next March. When's Arthur's birthday?
God.
When's Arthur's birthday?
July the 4th.
Oh, right.
Independence Day.
Isn't he 102 next year?
Yes.
Yes. He's
If he-
asleep. Oh, it's a shame to wake him up, isn't it? Hello, Arthur. Do you think we could listen to your chest, love?
No.
It's Dr. Littlejohn, you remember?
I know.
Of course you do. Speak cold.
Damn cold. Oh, don't.
Just listening, Arthur.
Don't.
Can you say 99, Arthur?
99 Arthur.
And again?
99 Arthur.
Well done. Your chest's pretty good.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound
Nothing
as if
there,
you've got
no.
a chest infection.
Just got a bit of a cold.
To sleep.
All right, we can go back to sleep.
Do you think you could do his temperature?
Yes.
So that if it does go up, can you let me know?
Yeah.
You'll have to let us know when you're coming back.
Oh, will you?
They'll get you fit again.
All the better slippers gone in them there.
Yeah.
Well, you got your slippers. Yeah.
And your socks and everything's in, I think.
Yeah.
Have you got kids?
Where's he at?
Morning, Billy. How are you doing? Give us your case.
Is that enough to walk it there? Anybody's lost steps, all right?
All right, Billy. Sit you down there.
I'm all right now.
Are you going to put your feet up?
I'm all right.
Are you all right? Don't have to sit like that. We'll see you.
How old are you now, Mr. Morphy?
94.
94? Oh, we'll have to shoot you, aren't they? Did you say you still drove your Land Rover?
Oh, I went to settle the other day, but by the way, I'm to get back.
You went to settle the other day? Well, that's marvellous at your age, isn't it?
Shouldn't have been doing with your boss. He said he did it on the town because I'm not
Very still. Okay, let's have a look at me again. Which ear hurts? Which is the one
It's
that
usually
hurts?
this one that
You remember?
you tell Dr Brewster which ear hurts.
This way.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're getting fierce now. You're going up to 440.
This is the door, Billy. This is the one. Mr. Beach is here.
We have him.
Good morning, Willie.
Down to the green wall and turn right.
No. The left ear's a little bit pinky, but not the rest.
Where do you want it? Set the new television, Billy.
You having any second thoughts about these assignments, Matthew?
Yes, I'm thinking of applying for a desk job, Debbie. Anyway, regular viewers will know that at 9:25 every day in daytime we have a dish of the day. Here at Stratford, we've got our own dish of the day. We're making industrial Christmas pudding.
Mr. Morton, it's Barry Brewster here. Willie Morfitt, do you know him? At Wigglesworth Hall. I mean, when did you last see him, sort of thing? How au fait with his present status are you? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, well, I'm admitting him to Castlebar, and he was worried this morning. He said, oh, well, he's got to straighten out the tax man and the income tax and this and that. So I said, took it upon myself, and I hope you don't mind, to have a little word with you so that you could, I don't know, keep the tax man at bay or whatever you think is the appropriate move. And that's up to you.
Sadly, since that programme was filmed, Mrs. Doris Campbell has died.